Yeah, man.
There we go. Welcome to the NBA Pub Hub, Pub Sports Radio, Wednesday, May 26th. Ian Cameron, Conor Mac, Skee Prophet, and Dutch Boy Fresh with you, ready to break down this Wednesday NBA playoff card. We've got 3 game twos on tap for tonight: Washington, Philadelphia, Atlanta, New York, and we've got Memphis and Utah. So make sure we'll break those down one by one. Before we get to tonight, we always like to look back on the night before. And last night we saw one game play out pretty much to what we all thought would happen. Brooklyn would just overwhelm Boston, be too much for them. They'd come out with a much better start, and that's exactly what happened. Nets, first half, first quarter, I like those. We had the over in the game as a best bet yesterday, I did. So that game worked out perfectly, and the Nets rolled to a easy, convincing win over the Celtics. This could be your 1-2-3 Cancun situation here for Brad Stevens and the Boston Celtics. They just look completely outmatched. And look, when you're going to get Durant, Harden, and Irving doing their thing, but then you're going to get 25 points from Joe Harris shooting like that, and you're going to get 11 points from Blake Griffin in the game, and you're going to get Landry Shamet chipping in 10 points. You're just going to have no shot if you're Boston. It's exactly what we saw last night. And to all our delight, because I don't think any of us are really big-time Clipper fans, and I know one person in particular on this panel isn't, we were very happy to see Dallas get the job done last night against the Clippers. Just an embarrassing, pathetic display of defense. I'm done thinking this team's a good elite defensive basketball team. It's just not right now. Not when you're giving up paths to the lane too easily, not when you're giving up easy baskets. You're not getting back in transition. You're not contesting well enough. It's just a whole boatload of issues. Now Dallas shot out of their minds, but a lot of it was bad defense in my mind. And Luka outstanding once again, and the Clippers in big trouble, down 2-0 in this series. Shout out to Joel Myers, who was the play-by-play guy last night of that Clipper game. He never should have been canned by the Lakers. That was ridiculous in my mind.
Yeah.
The longtime television voice of the Lakers, and they got rid of him for someone worse,
Whack, man.
in my opinion. But nevertheless, good to hear his voice. He's a pro's pro, and the Clippers in big-time trouble, down 2-0 in the series. Skee, we'll start with you because I see you smiling. I know you're happy. You're with glee on this day. Oh, and of course, the Lakers. Remiss if I didn't. Taking care of business against the Suns. Bounce-back game. What is LeBron's record straight up in ATS off a playoff loss? I know it's pretty damn good, and it continued again last night. So the Lakers get the job done, taking care of Phoenix. That Laker defense came back with a vengeance last night. They shut down the Suns, tie that series 1-1. Skee, thoughts on last night?
Kind of went as expected. Anytime the Lakers win and Clippers lose, it just makes the day that much better. Like any way I'm feeling, it just boosted up times 10. So I loved it. I was laughing at Max on record because he was not giving me a hard time, but I liked the Jazz the other day and they didn't come through. And I told him again today, he's asking me to be wary now. We'll talk about that game, but I had a good day yesterday. I'm seeing the NBA real well. I'm trying to keep it going today.
That's what it's about. It's great to have yesterday go well, and I think for most of us it did, but it's always, what are you going to do for me next? That's the way it works in the sports betting world. Dutch Boy Fresh, welcome in, my man. How did you think of last night's action?
Yeah, man. Appreciate you. Shout out to my man Joe Free off that fire OG. I got that white OG in the plane, man. Respect. And also, who's that? Wyatt, man, you don't know about the Gucci's, bro. Wyatt don't know about the Gucci's. It's all good, though. But, yeah, when it comes to the games yesterday, the only thing that killed me was that really set me back a little bit was the first part of the first game of the day with the Nets blowing them out. I mean, Marcus Smart hit over 13.5. He had 0 points at halftime. He had 19 in the second half, so that was nice for me. KD, I felt like I read it like a book. He was 8 for 12 from the field. 2 of 2 from three-point line. He was zoned in, locked in, 26 points. Fortunately, they were up by 30 plus, and he didn't run in the fourth. So I did break that by a bucket. Lakers handle business. I look for LeBron. He don't look right to me, though. I'm going to be honest with you. He's setting more screens than anything out there. I don't know. He don't look good, but I'm glad AD showed up, for my man Skee. And then, when it comes to what was that third game, my fault?
Clippers.
Yeah, the Clippers. Hey, who could have motherfucking done? How could I forget about my man? Shit. Hey, and I took the 7. Yeah, I didn't tweet it out, but I said it on the show. I had to take the 7 late. I actually jumped on Luka a little over on the 28.5 too, because I had LeBron 2 with the assist and the points. He hit the assist. So, yeah, I mean, it was a good night overall, but it could have been a great night if I would have got 2 more buckets. But I'm definitely excited for today, ready to get that bread.
There's nothing you can do in that case. I mean, Kevin Durant's on his way clearly to go over that point total, and in a blowout game, unfortunately, they rest him in the fourth quarter. There's not much you can do. It's just a bad break scenario more than anything else. What do you think here, Connor, of last night?
Yeah, Nets took care of business. It was pretty simple. Kicked their ass. The Celtics look horrible. Brad Stevens, I mean, Mr. Bright young coach, I think he's on his way out. They don't look like they give a shit. We'll skip the Lakers. Lakers kicked ass. AD stepped up like we all had to say. He did well. He got that 10th rebound at the end, the double-double. Woo, that was huge for me.
I was starting that for you, bro.
Thanks, my guy, Dutch. And lastly, the Mavs. I loved it. I went with the under. That was my only loss of the day, but it was 4-1 day. It was good. The Clippers, like I said, just look lost. Everyone, all those dudes just like looking at each other defensively, offensively, like you shoot it, defensively. They don't, they're all on the bench. I was worried about that, and man, it showed. But the Mavs have shot the rock. Unreal the first 2 games. Luka, of course, has been great, but Hardaway's been unreal. I mean, if they keep shooting like that, I think they'll win the series. I think they'll have some off shooting nights. This will get tight. But yeah, great night. Let's get to the games tonight, though. Let's get rolling.
All right, let's start with Philadelphia hosting Washington, Game 2. This is NBA TV tonight, so it's like last night. The 2 games are on the main network, TNT, and then one they throw over to NBA TV. This is that one. We've got the Sixers -8 here, home favorites, 229 the total, pretty much across the board here in this one. Of the 3 games tonight, this is the one I don't have an overly strong opinion on. I did cash with the over in Game 1. But I'm not rushing to go back to that tonight. First of all, the total's higher. Second of all, Doc Rivers and the Sixers have talked about we need a little bit better defensive intensity than we showed in Game 1. They didn't really like their performance at that end of the floor. You'd expect the Sixers to make their adjustments more on defense going into this game. As far as the side goes, so I would actually maybe lean under, and we've already seen some under money come in. As far as the side goes, we have seen a pattern here where the superior team is letting the opponent hang around in Game 1. Like Brooklyn did against Boston, Milwaukee did against Miami, and we're starting to see the worm turn a little bit. And then Brooklyn comes back and beats up Boston in Game 2. Milwaukee blows out Miami in Game 2. I get the sense Sixers could be sitting on that kind of effort. I know based on everything I've read, guys, they weren't happy with their performance in Game 1. They felt they could have been a lot better. They let Washington hang around. So I guess I would lean to the Sixers and lay in the points here in this game. It's kind of got that feel where like the Brooklyn game and like the Milwaukee game in Game 2, this could be a game where the superior team, he means business, plays a full 48, and maybe wins the game going away. So I would lean to Philly and would lean under the total, but that's not a strong opinion either way. Skee, we'll start with you here, Wizards and Sixers.
Well, I think the side and total are probably correlated here. If you like the Sixers to win by margin, it would have to be like a defensive type game, because if they don't play any defense, I don't trust that kind of team. The team we saw in Game 1, I wouldn't trust them to win by double digits. Just any team that won't play defense, I'm just not going to do it. So until they show me that they can stop them, I'm not going to do it. Washington, they shot 40% from 3, but they only shot 20 of them. They're just getting every easy basket they want. So I would have to take Washington again, plus the 8 points. I know for a fact Russ has a chip on his shoulder against Embiid. So I know he'll go extra hard every time they match up. If you guys remember a while ago, Embiid gave a little extra oomph on his fall on top of Westbrook, and Westbrook took exception to it and had some words for him in an interview. But I like Washington's side, and like I said, I think it's correlated to the over. So those are the 2 ways that I'll lean.
Definitely, that makes sense. If you like Washington, you got to like the over as well, because that's the way they're going to look. That's the way they're going to want to play. Philly should be able to get anything they want at the rim again. Like Alex Len and some of these stiffs in the low post aren't going to do a thing against Embiid and Simmons for the Wizards. No way, no how. But on the flip side, if that perimeter game gets going for the Sixers, or for the Wizards, I should say, and that Sixers defense is as leaky as it was in Game 1, that could be trouble for Philly backers, could be trouble for under backers as well. What do you think, Dutch, about this game?
Yeah, I'm actually looking the other way here. Pretty much with the Wizards Game 1, from what I've seen is they shot 56% from the field, 40% from 3, They out-rebounded them only by 1, but they out-rebounded them. And they're plus 18 in the point. And they had 38 points off the bench, and they still lost the game by 7 points, plus 12 in the bench. So I don't see all that happening again. I only see pretty much Sixers, to me, is a trifecta spot here. But I'm going to go ahead and land on the first half. I like that number, minus 4.5. I really think the Sixers are just a better team. We'll see a really good, pretty much what you said, Ian. I kind of echoed it a little bit. Doc Rivers, they didn't seem too happy. I think we touched on that a little bit in game after game 1. They didn't seem too happy with what they did out there. So I expect a better overall effort all around. I'm not mad at the Curry over 13.5 points again. Shout out to my guy T. Hopkins. He likes the over 2.5 threes. I'm not mad at that as well. But what I do like is the definitely like that first half minus 4.5. And I'll look at Ben Simmons rebounds and assists. A lot of books don't offer that. So if you can go over 7.5 rebounds, it's minus 115, I believe, 110, right around there. The assist is minus 140. So I would recommend the rebounds. I expect him to get off. Personally, he had 15 and 15, obviously, in game 1. We know that. But he's taking this personal challenge, I believe, against Russell Westbrook. I think he thinks he's better than Russ, or he can do everything that Russ is doing. So I look for my man Simmons to eat and the rebounds and assists. And, I'll stay off the points because I don't even like his ass when he goes to the free throw line.
Yeah, that's one thing he can't do that Russ could do.
Hey, well, Russ be fucking around too. He shot over 60% this year from the free throw line, I believe, bro. That's his worst ever, some shit. So, but yeah, you're right. Russ has been looking real well, a lot better when it comes down to the free throw line. No lies.
Yeah, definitely. Davis Bertans over 2.5 threes from Big Show in the chat, liking that as a player prop. And yeah, Bertans is a capable perimeter guy. I don't mind that one at all. What do you think here, Connor? Washington, Philly.
It's a game I don't know if I'm gonna get involved with. I could see the Sixers early, like you talked about, Dutch. But like I'm with Skee. If I go full game, give me the 8 points. We'll see. The Sixers defense isn't going to show up at all. I'm sure it will. They do have the better defense, but I think they just kind of play with the Wizards, their game. They just will go kind of up and down with them, kind of a little sloppy defense. We know we can score at will and win that way. So if I was the Sixers, I wouldn't love laying 8 points here, 8.5. Wizards didn't shoot the three that well, I think, last game. Well, they were 8 for 20. Sixers were 10 for 32. The Harris prop I was mentioning, but it's 21.5. He had 36 the other night. Dutch, you mentioned it. The Ben Simmons, I like his assists and rebounds. His assists too. If you think get over 8.5, it's plus money.
Yeah, now, I like that 16.5. But like I mentioned, a lot of people don't offer the rebounds and assist books together. Exactly. Yeah. So maybe if you want to do it separate, like you're saying, go to a little leap, you get a little plus money over 8.5 with his assists. I don't know. Playoffs, I'd go, that first game was over. It's tough to take an under here. I know it's up to 230, 125, 118. That cleared it pretty easily. That's why I'm probably going to stay off here and all the way around, but I'd lean the Wiz. I'd take the points again if I had to here. I'd take the 8 points full game. Okay.
All right, leaning toward the Wizards here, plus the 8. And yeah, just that's the one thing about Philadelphia. They have these lulls in games, and that's why sometimes it can be tricky laying 8 with them. They're saying the right things that, hey, we got to be better than we were in game 1. We didn't like our effort in game 1. All these bet on quotes, bet on statements from players, from Rivers, the coach. You want to see it enacted in action on the floor, though. It's nice to talk about it, back it up. That's that commonality. You got to be able to prove it on the court and be able to get it done. Speaking of getting it done, guys, who's got to get it done tonight? The New York Knicks. I don't think you want to be going down 2-0 going back to the ATL here. And they are facing the Atlanta Hawks. We've got the Knicks 1.5, 2.0 favorites here. The total in this one currently looks like it's around 213 pretty much across the board in this one. Look, I'm going down with the ship. So I'm on New York here. I was on them in game 1. If they lose tonight, so be it. I'm actually going to go first half and full game here because you would think it's a Knicks spot early. You don't want to go down 2-0 in this series. There is concern about the health of Nerlens Noel. We can't, sweep that under the rug. That's a legitimate concern we've got here, especially for rim protection inside. He is one of their anchors at the defensive end of the floor. up for this Knicks team. He's going to play, I believe, but will he be 100%? That's definitely a question mark here going into this game. More than anything, and look, I think Skee is the one that said it, and he's absolutely 100% right. If the Knicks are going to win this series, Julius Randle has to be top-notch for this team, and he certainly wasn't in game one. You could, I don't know, first playoff game in New York, the bright lights, maybe just a little bit off your game a bit. I think he's good enough, though, to bounce back. I think he's got that mentality, that mindset. I don't think this is a situation where this is going to be a series-long tank job for Julius Randle. I think he's got it in him to be better. I'm already on his, everybody's talking about it in the chat. I had already bet it before the show started, over 26.5 points for Julius Randle tonight. I do think it's one of those show-out statement games for him, bounce back for his team, bounce back for him personally after a rough game one shooting the basketball. So I like the Randle prop over 26.5, and I'm on the Knicks first half full game. No need to say anything more than that. I respect Atlanta, but I don't know if this team's got it in. They're still a young group. Let's keep that in mind. Do they have the mindset to go in there, step on the neck of the Knicks, and win 2 straight on the road against what should be a frenzied, urgent, desperate Knicks team trying to avoid 0-2 down at MSG? I don't know if they've got that in them just yet. Still a young group, this Hawks team. So I like New York to get the job done and give me Randall's points over 26.5 as well. Skee, what's your thoughts here? Atlanta, New York, game 2.
Yeah, I feel a lot of different ways about this game. For one, I think Atlanta is the better team. Like, if I look at their roster, I just have to say that's who I would choose as the better team. New York, I'll say they can fix a lot of things, probably that, or do some things differently than they did in that game one. Like Randall didn't have a great game. We talked about him, 6 for 23, 1 free throw. RJ Barrett, he didn't have the greatest game either. But at the end of the game, and like some of the game, I saw where he was like backing down Trae Young and stuff like that. Like, that's a mismatch. They could take advantage of Trae Young defensively. So I think that they'll look more to do that. And I probably could look towards his points over. Last I saw was 17 and a half, something like that. But the main look for me, like you mentioned, Ian, is going to be on Randall. He just can't have another game like that, 6 for 23 and 1 free throw. Dutch mentioned before, I'm sure he has the numbers. Randall's killed Atlanta every single game. He put up a couple 40 pieces on them. So
37 and a half up until this last one.
Yeah. So points, rebounds, assists was at 40.5. It probably went up to 41.5 now. So I still think he can get up and over it. That's probably my best bet on this game. And if I'm going to play the Knicks, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They're the best first half team in the league. I would look to do it that way. And that's how I like this game.
Yeah, that's exactly why I'm splitting it. Like, I do think they'll find a way to win the game, and so I'm on them full game too. But I got to have a piece of the first half, knowing that you think first 24 minutes they're ready to go and come out strong in this one. And like I say, Atlanta's got to show me, do they have the killer mindset in them to bury the Knicks on the road in 2 straight games? I'm not so sure they're there just yet. And look, we're going to find out something about Tibbs tonight. Everybody's saying what a coach of the year candidate, Tom Thibodeau, this and that. Stick a defensive answer on Trae Young tonight, please. Could you do that? Because he absolutely killed you down the stretch. Like, find another defensive matchup for Trae Young. You're supposed to be this defensive guru, defensive mind. Let's see it in action tonight, Thibodeau, and let's see you adjust properly and make sure Trae Young's not slicing and dicing you all over the court like he did down the stretch of the fourth quarter. And you can tell as I talk about it more, I get angry more because he single-handedly killed me with that Nick bet the other night, Trae Young in the final minutes of that game.
Yeah,
but I'll digress to Dutch. Dutch, what do you think here? Hawks Knicks.
Yeah, I second that. That was pretty disgusting at the end. They let Trae Young beat us, bro. That wasn't nice. Beats. I stay high, bro. So I stay loaded, bro. That's nothing new. But yeah, this is what I look at this game is. I'm a big believer of the Knicks in the regular season. You know, I made a lot of money off them. It's hard for me not to be. But I don't like what I see. I agree with Skee. I think Atlanta's the better team. They personally, Trae Young had a good game, but if you look at almost everybody else, I think besides Bogdanović, they all had like at least 5 points under their average. Capella had 13 boards, which is still actually under his average. But I mean, I expect Collins to have a lot better game. I'm gonna stay away from a side though. At that, I'm saying that because I don't want to bet against New York because I feel like this is an absolute must-win for them. But it's hard for me to go to the window with them when I think Atlanta's, clearly a better team, to be honest. So, but what I'm going to look at is I'm going to look at under, and I'm going to take it to the first half. I got a 108. You can still get that, maybe something better out there. I haven't looked in it recently. I bet this early, but it was 108. And the reason why I'm going to focus on the first half, obviously hit game one, it went 102. You know, had a really low, I believe 40 in the first quarter. They actually scored 60 in the second. But I think if the Knicks are going to show up here, they got to do it on the defensive end. So I really like the 108. And I think this could be a game just like last game where we could see an overtime. I don't want to get fucked in that type of situation. So I'm going to stick it to the first half, under 108. And, you know, the under's 5-1 in the last 6 for the Hawks and 4-0 in the last 4 meetings for the Knicks, too, after they've allowed 100 points. So I really expect them to, you know, come out, play hard, at least focus in and lock down on the defensive end and kind of contain, you know, Trae Young a little bit. I'm also looking at Trae Young over 9.5 assists. I did get it at minus 125, but I did look right before I came on. I think it's at 140 now. So if you guys can shop around and get a better number on that. But he's averaging 11.5 in the 4 meetings this year versus them. And he's went over this number 3 in the last 4 meetings. So, you know, I do expect him to lock him down a little bit on the offensive end. And you know, they got tons of scorers everywhere. Gallinari didn't have a good game as well. So he could get hot. But I also look for Bogdanovic to maybe hit over his threes and keep it going. He's been putting up the numbers. So I'm not mad at that. And then one more, I got to look at Barrett. You mentioned the point, Skee. I look at him more from a rebounding aspect. He had 11 in game 1. Like you mentioned, he's a lot bigger than Trae Young. Over 5.5 rebounds. I see him getting that. He's went over this number his last 4 meetings against this team, and he's averaging 8.5. So I look for, over 5.5 rebounds from my man Barrett as well.
Yeah, good props. I mean, the Barrett rebounds over makes sense. Bogdanovic over 3-pointers makes sense because, look, he was the next best offensive force for the Hawks in game 1 outside of Trae Young. So there's no doubt his contribution to the Hawks' performance in game 1 was huge in getting them that road win. Connor, I'm a Knick guy. I've been the Knick guy most of the regular season. I'm going down with the ship tonight, win or lose. Are you joining me?
Hell yeah, man. Shit. I'm going down in flames. Fucking Fire Marshal Bill. You know, get that
going
shit
down in a blaze of glory.
Yeah. Going down. I think the series goes 7 like we talked about. But the Knicks, if they don't win this, it's a little bit of trouble. And I don't love this Hawks team on the road. They played well game 1. Hats off to him. And Trae Young played really well again. And he could, go off again. But I think the Knicks, they're very young, so they could be a little bit, I don't know, the bright lights could get to them a little bit, but I want them here. You guys talked about it real quick. I want them first half and full game. I like the first half a little bit better, and I like your under, Dutch, the first half as well. That defensive intensity's got to come out right away. So I agree on the under, not a first half and a little bit full game. It got a little hairy there in game 1, the full game. But I'm with you guys. I'm joining the party. Let's get it done. Let's go Knicks.
Hey, my fault. One point I did want to make. I don't even know if I said this, but this was crazy to me. I had to re-look at it 3 times. The Knicks had 64 points off the bench in game 1 and still lost the game. It's like I don't know. I'm gonna root for you guys. I'm hoping the Knicks make it 1-1 definitely. Because I definitely want them to play some fucking defense as well. Yeah. But that's crazy. 64 fucking points in game 1 off the bench. Obviously, Randall didn't show. I expect him to do his thing again, but that's crazy. That's a crazy number to me.
Yeah, I had one sneaky prop real quick. Derrick Rose, he's been averaging about 5 assists. It's plus money. That's why I look at it. I try to get value. He's over 5.5 assists is plus 118. If you're looking for a little value, you may get over 5 tonight in the props department. Other than Randall, which we all like.
You could argue that should be even money or just like maybe minus 110 or minus 120, not a plus price given, the past history and the numbers he's had with that prop, especially against this opponent. So that might be worth a look too. Capella, if Noel is compromised, does he go have a bigger night as well for the Hawks? Keep that in mind in that paint area. That's something I would look for maybe more in-game. A lot of books you can bet the props in-game, believe it or not, the player props. So if you see Noel's just not right early in the game physically and still impaired injury-wise, you could maybe be able to jump in on a Capella rebounds or points or both, while the game starts. If you can pick up on Noel maybe not being 100%. Speaking of not 100%, Utah sure as hell wasn't, not health-wise, but they should be tonight with Donovan Mitchell back finally, making his playoff debut this year. Game 2, Grizzlies Jazz. A lot of Utah money, guys. 7.5. They're now 9.5, 10 home favorites. 218.5. The total's been bet up here as well a little bit in this one. When you look at Memphis, there's a lot of basketball roulette that went their way, and I know it was shocking. And look, Memphis is 8-1. In the last 9 games coming into tonight.
Yeah.
Maybe we're just undervaluing this team. Maybe we're not respecting them enough with the way things have gone for this Memphis team down the stretch. They beat Golden State to get here into the playoffs. They beat Utah in game 1. I know there was no Donovan Mitchell, but still you got to tip your hat to them that they got the job done. However, you look at the ins and outs of game 1 and you realize there's a lot of basketball roulette going their way. They didn't have Mitchell. That's going to test the Memphis defense now. Rudy Gobert got in some foul trouble. That's a concern, in that game. And I think that's really what tilted the scales in Memphis's favor offensively. They were able to just do a whole lot more, get inside a lot better, a lot easier with Gobert and those foul issues. And all of that now swung the game in Memphis's favor. Now you're going to have to hope that, hey, Utah, desperate mode at home. There's not going to be that same issues with fouls for the Jazz and Gobert in particular. They're going to have Mitchell back. It's going to throw a lot more wrinkles at this Memphis team. But let's be honest, they were an average defensive team most of the season. And now they're going to get tested a lot more here. It just feels and smells like Utah tonight in this game. And it feels like they could roll and maybe pull away late here in the second half of this game. So this is a game where I would only look to Utah here. I like the over again. I'm coming right back to it. I was lucky to win the over in game 1 of this series. Let's be honest. I mean, it had an explosion in the last half of the fourth quarter. Really had no business going over. But now you're going to have Mitchell back. You're going to have a much better offensive attack going up against this Memphis team. Memphis has still shown that ability to match the Jazz at the offensive end. So I think the game does go over the total. The over's taken money, and I agree with that. I think it'll be hopefully not as much of a sweat this time around for the over, but I think it can get there. And I think it just feels to me like Utah is the right side. Memphis is playing well. It does also feel like they're being undervalued, getting this many points, but I just don't know if I'd want to go into any bet against Utah in this spot with Mitchell back on the floor. Skee, how do you feel here? Memphis and Utah. Memphis still undervalued, or do they finally meet their match tonight?
Man, this Memphis team again. You know how you guys said you're going down with the ship talking about the Knicks. Whatever is the opposite, like I'm doing that with Memphis. I'm still going against them again. Yeah, I'm going against them again here. Usually when you think about the star coming back in the first game, you think it might be rust or they got to integrate them, et cetera, et cetera. But in the playoff game, I don't know. I maybe feel a little bit different. And everybody seemed like they were pretty pissed off with how the last game went. And with Mitchell not playing, I look at the Jazz and as a whole, they shot 26% from 3 in the game. That's pretty uncharacteristic for them. 42% from the field, and the Grizzlies only won by 3. So I think they play lockdown defense tonight. I think a lot more 3-point shots go in, and I would expect them to win by margin. I'll share what Ralph Michaels tweeted out a few days ago. If you lost game number 1 as a home favorite and you're minus 5.5 or more, those teams, and it did also apply to the Clippers, and they lost. So before that game, those teams were 69%, and that's going back to 2010. That would put you on the Utah Jazz tonight. And, I mean, that same angle gives them motivation to come out in the first half. I like the Jazz first half full game.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. As someone asking, have you ever taken an under? I have, but rarely. Rarely have I. I just haven't had success with them. That's the honest. It's not that I hate them. It's just I've been terrible with unders. Terrible across all sports for years. So the majority of my totals are overs, and that's the reason why for that. But, yeah. Look, when you look at it too for Memphis, like Dylan Brooks ain't getting 31 points again. No way. He's just not. Like I'm pretty damn confident in that. He's not 31 points tonight. He's not, what was he shooting there? An incredible percentage from the floor in that game, 13 to 26, 50%. He is not going to be doing that again tonight. So if you want to sell high player prop tonight, Dylan Brooks under points. Like he's probably going to be held down compared to that. Morant's still capable of getting his, but that's an anomaly that sticks out like a sore thumb. Dylan Brooks than that offensive performance in game 1. You got to think that that's not going to be duplicated tonight. Dutch, how do you see this one playing out here? Memphis and Utah.
Yeah, man. Me and Skee in the same rotation, pretty much. Echo everything my man said. They Jazz shot 26. I don't know if he said this, but he might have. They shot 26% from three. I know he said something like that. 26%. They had 12 of 47 from three, bro. They shot the fucking 47 times and made 12 of them. 13% less, than their season average. I look at this spot pretty much like we did with Milwaukee, except for even they're going to come out even as Milwaukee did in game 2. They shot so horrible from the 3-point line. I don't know if it's going to be to that extent, but I definitely look for this is a must win for Utah. So I think they're going to come out aggressive, put the clamps down. They got the juice with their stud back and D Mitch. So I look for Utah to handle it. I'm going to stay away from the first quarter, really, but to me, it's a trifecta spot. But I'm zoning in on that first half, -5.5. I'm not mad at the full game at 9, but definitely that first half, I expect them to be up by double digits, probably in the first, but definitely by the end of the second.
Yeah, my player prop in that game, Jacksonville. So that's a good point. Mitchell over 25.5 is his point total, but yeah, we'll have to see how effective he is. The minutes. We'll have to wait and see on that. That's a good point. But I like Dylan Brooks under.
I did want to mention, I like that prop, Ian. I did want to mention that, Utah, we're getting them too. They're, coming off losing 2 games at home. They only lost 6 fucking games all year at home. 31-6 as a home team, 23-13 ATS. That, losing 2 games at home. This is a spot right here for realistically, I think, for us just to load up on, take note.
Yeah, I think Utah can get a double-digit win here. I do, and look, they've been good at home against the spread all season, especially off a home loss. You would expect that here, so we'll have to wait and see on that. Stop giving John Ryan and his computer grief there. All right, it's Max on record. His computer's fine, right? He's at least got a database and a system. I don't. I'm envious of John Ryan's and the Ralph Michaels of the world. They just type in all kinds of things, spit it all out for them in one instant. Here, I'm scribbling on pen and paper. I'm old school right now. I'm just trying to piece together some kind of decent little database or record keeping. It's not easy. These guys make it look easy in their sleep. But yeah, I think it sets up nicely for Utah. You just hope they're not a Clippers. Like Clippers against Dallas is clearly they're a flighty team. There's some kind of issues going on with this group. There's not that chemistry right now with that Clippers. Do you get that sense they're a tight-knit basketball team, the Clippers? I don't. And I think that it basically impacts them on the floor. I don't think Utah's like that, though. I think Utah will follow the lead of Brooklyn and Milwaukee and really put their foot down tonight in the game 2 spot. What do you think here, Connor, Memphis and Utah?
Yeah, I think the big key is how bad they shot it from 3. You guys talked about the Jazz always shoot probably one of the most always in the league, and 25%, 12 of 47. I think they got to make more tonight, and they're at home. Dutch, you mentioned it. They only lost 6 games all year. They're really good at home. So I'd roll Jazz. I like a little bit first half. When I start laying 5.5, 6.5 first half, I'm a little itching. It's because they could come out a little slow. Who knows shooting it? But I'd lean Jazz first half. Full game, I don't want to go 9.5. Too big in a playoff game. Again, a backdoor cover, all that good stuff. I didn't really love any player props here. Like I said, if the Grizzlies go, Morant's got to go, so he scores over 20. So I'd be on him. You mentioned, Ian, you like Brooks under. He's kind of got to be a secondary scorer, but can he score 20 again? I don't think he scores 31, but get over 19.5. We'll see. But yeah, I like Jazz early. I lean towards the over too. As long as they're hitting those threes, they're shooting a shitload. They'll be good. And I think we get over this total. So I lean the over as well, full game.
All right, there we go. Good stuff. That is the Wednesday card. A great analysis. I hope you got you ready for the night. Cash some tickets, sides, totals, props, you name it. We hit it basically on this show, the NBA Pub Hub, 7 days a week throughout the playoffs. So make sure you don't miss a show. Monday to Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. We're on earlier on the weekends. So make sure you're aware of that. Best bets coming up. Before we do that, we got messages from Manscaped and Southtown 101. Yeah, you know, I've been asked before the pre-pandemic times, Ian, when you want to go out and you want to go to a bar or a restaurant, what are the good places? I want the places with good food, good drinks. I can watch the games. There's live music, DJ, karaoke. And you know, if it's karaoke, I'm there. So there you go. Southtown 101. It's got all of that in San Antonio. So check them out. And I'm like I say,
We got to get you to Vegas. Get that
Yeah.
karaoke game going.
Exactly.
Get you here,
You
man.
know, I love it. It is. You know, I'm into music. Everybody knows that. You see me on Twitter. I usually every few weeks I post I do a retro or greatest hits of all time night. I'm just posting all these old songs, and it's a lot of fun just listening to them all. So I'm a big music guy, as you know. Any restaurant or bar with karaoke is a good place in my book. So check out Southtown 101. Mybookie.ag. Check them out as well. Actually, first Manscaped. Make sure you check them out. Promo code Pub Sports. Get those male grooming products and get yourself taken care of, guys out there. And of course, mybookie.ag. Promo code Pub Sports. NHL and NBA playoffs daily. MLB. We got golf continuing throughout the year. U.S. Open next major up on Father's Day weekend. UFC. All of that. Mybookie.ag. Promo code Pub Sports. Check them out and use Bitcoin there if you would like. It is an accepted currency. Mybookie.ag, promo code Pub Sports. All right, let's go to best bets for this Wednesday NBA slate. Let's start with Dutch today. What do you like, Dutch? Best bet tonight.
Yeah, I'm on my freshest look is going to be it's going to be Utah first half -5.5. To me, this is a must win for them. They lost game 1 at home. I gave you all, I already gave you what it is. So Utah first half -5.5.
All right, there you go. Jazz. We got the Jazz. We got the Utah -5.5 first half against the Memphis Grizzlies for Dutch Boy Fresh with his best bet. Skee Profit, best bet. You're up next.
I like Randall. If the Knicks are going to do anything, which I know you two guys up top hope they do, they're going to need Randall to put in some work. So Randall over 41.5 points, rebounds, assists.
All right, there we go. Randall over points, rebounds, and assists for the New York Knicks tonight. Best bet for Skee Profit. Conor Mac, here you go. Best bet.
I like both, but I think you got to bring it the first half. Give me Knicks first half -1. Most places 1.5. I think they bring it. I don't mind full game too. I'll be on both, but give me the first half. If you want the full game, Ian, take the full game if you're going with it, or are you going with an over?
Yeah, I'm going with the over in one of the games.
Okay.
Those are working. We've had 2 in a row. We had Portland, Denver Sunday. We had Boston, Brooklyn last night over the total 227. Yeah. I'm going to Memphis, Utah over 218.5. I don't think we're going to have to sweat as much. Look, it was a wrong side winner. That's the way I see it in game 1.
They shot bad. Yeah.
I was lucky. We had a fourth quarter explosion to get us there with the over in game 1 of this series. I'll take it, but it was not a right side. You got to admit when it's a wrong side, but you cash anyway. That's the way I felt about the over in game 1 of Memphis, Utah. I think it'll be a right side tonight, and it'll cash. So Memphis, Utah over 218.5. That'll be my best bet for this Wednesday NBA playoff slate. And that's a wrap on the NBA Pub Hub for Wednesday, May 26th. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. We're here 7 days a week. We'll have every playoff game covered for you through now till Larry O.B. is hoisted above someone's head in the sky. We'll be here for you right here on the NBA Pub Hub every single day. Conor Mac, Skee Profit, Dutch Boy Fresh, Ian Cameron. Have a good night. Cash some tickets. We're back tomorrow.
Be sure to like and subscribe.
Oh, yeah.
Let me hit them real quick. Be sure to like and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Salute to the real ones. Y'all stay fresh, stay blessed, and let's stay putting these motherfucking bookies to rest.
We be pubbing.
Woo!
Get it.
Great outro. And on that note, enjoy the games and good luck. See you tomorrow on the Pub Hub.